In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the front driver's side CV shaft on this Mercedes E350. Let's get into it. Remove the wheel. We're going to use a 17mm socket. Take the lug bolts out. Before we take the last one out, I am going to hold the wheel from falling. And just grab the wheel, slide it out. On the sides here, you want to take these bolts out. I'm going to use an 8mm socket. Take these off. There should be another one right there. And do the same on the other side. Underneath, we're going to use the 8mm socket. Take all the fasteners off underneath here. Grab the shield. If there's any push pins on the side, you want to take those out as well. And slide it off. We're going to remove this shield using an 8mm socket. Take all these fasteners off. Slide that down. Using a E10 socket, I'm going to take these two bolts out. Take that out and take that shield off. And grab the speed sensor, just give it a wiggle, and just slide that out. We just don't want to break it by accident. Set that aside. Take the axle nut off. I'm going to use a 27mm socket. Take that bolt out. With this bolt out, you should be able to move the axle, separate it. If not, you're going to have to put the bolt in, give it a couple taps with a hammer, but that moves pretty easily. I'm going to use a 21mm socket, and you can see the bolt in there. We're going to take that out. On the back side, use a 22mm wrench. Take that nut off, and there's a washer. On the other side, we're going to do the same. Take that nut off, the washer, nut, the washer off, take those bolts out. This will slide down. With the pry bar, we just slid these out a little bit, and then this bolt is a little easier to access. I'm going to take that bolt out. Now I'm just going to pry this out a little bit, use a 21mm socket, and then on the other side, use a 21mm wrench. Take that off. I'll pry this down. Like that, and just push the knuckle out, and the axle comes out right there. And from the back side, just take a punch, a large punch, just give it a tap, pop it off. There we go, slide that off, and it slides right out. Now slide the back side in. Just hold the rotor out of the way. Get this lined up. You can put a little grease on the splines if you want to. lined up. Just give it a tap with a rubber mallet. And just push that all the way down until it clicks. There we go. That's all the way down. And slide this side into the hub. That's good. I'm just going to use a pull jack underneath, and we'll just line the lower control arm up. Just get that started. Might need a pry bar to get it in place. Get the strut bolt started. Put the nut on, tighten this down. You can torque this to 119 foot-pounds. That's good. And get these to line up so you can put these bolts in. Give it a tap if you need to. And take the bolt up, get that lined up. If you need to, you can use a screwdriver just to pry on the inside, get that lined up. Just tap that in. The front bolt in. That's all the way in. Get the nuts on and the washers. The nut. The washer on and the nut. Before we tighten these down, we're going to get underneath the control arm and get this as close to ride height as possible. Just raise that up a little bit. If you could put the wheel on and torque this on the ground. That would be ideal. Snug those down first. Torque these two bolts to 81 foot-pounds. Lower the pull jack and take that out of the way. Now put the spindle bolt in. Started. I'm going to take two of the lug bolts, get those started. Using a pry bar. Slide this in between. It's going to prevent the hub from spinning. We'll torque this to 52 foot-pounds. Then after that, you're going to go an additional 90 degrees. If you don't have a angle meter, do the best you can. A little more. And that's 90 degrees. Take the lug bolts off. Take the speed sensor, line that back up in the bracket. Take this plate, get that started. Put the bolts in. Snug those down. That's good. Now slide this panel in place. Get the bolts started. Take this shield, line it up. Oops. That's lined up, that's lined up. Get all the screws started and tighten them down. The wheel on, line that up, take the lug bolt, get that started, and we'll tighten that down, snug that one down, and then put the other ones in. And we'll tighten these all down. Now we're going to torque the lug bolts to 95 foot-pounds in a cross pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. go around again, double check.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.